Welcome to the semester channel, your semester of endless yet improved learning. So over the couple of days, we've been reviewing or looking at the various chapters that forms a thesis, right? Or a scientific write-up. Okay. And we've looked at chapter 1, we've looked at chapter 2, which is the literature review, and we are currently going to go through with the chapter 3. Okay. All right. So before wasting much time, so mostly students find it very difficult with this chapter, right? They feel this chapter is more of headings rather than a logical description of how the study should be conducted. So as a researcher myself, I try to tell students to ask themselves this one question. And the question is, how exactly would you conduct the study to answer your research question? That is, if your department is going with research questions. Or how exactly will your study achieve your objectives? Now, mind you, across all the chapters I've been looking at, I keep reminding you that your study is all about answering a research problem. And you are going to answer that problem based on your objectives, right? So the crux of all your research is focused on your objectives, right? So if you are able to answer your objectives, then you have concluded your study, right? So it is not far-fetched to say that your methodology also rests on your objective or rests on achieving your objective, right? So to kickstart, we see that at the end of this chapter, we are expected to explain where the study will be conducted. That is focusing on methodology, where your study will be conducted, so your study sites, who will be the participants, how participants will be selected, how you will collect data and analyze that data, and then ethical issues that arise from your research. Ethics has been covered in a separate video. You can look at it and then work towards that. All right, so there's a cycle to the methodology, right? And with this we have the first one looking at your study area, right? This is the cycle of the methodology. So you are looking at your study area, the location of your study. We'll go into details for each of this cycle, right? Then the next one is to choose your study design. There are various designs out there. We have the experimental, we have the cross-sectional, we have the cohort studies, we have the case controls. So there are various study designs out there, and each is suitable for a particular study. So you have to define your study design and then explain why you selected that particular design, right? So after that, you have to identify your population. Yes. So here, simply put, you are supposed to identify the population you are going to target. Are you going to target just females? Are you going to target just males? Are you going to target a population of a certain age range? Right, so all these things are supposed to be made clear for your thesis, right? And bear in mind, these are all forming part of the scope of your work, right? Good. So you go on to your study inclusion and exclusion criteria, right? Who are you going to include in your study? Who are you going to exclude in your study? Are you looking at a condition and are you going to exclude some conditions? How are you even going to tackle confounders, right? So are you going to exclude participants who are going to contribute to confounders when it's time to analyze your data? All right, you determine your sample size. Now in research, you can't take data from the entire population, even consensus, right? Consensus don't end up having everyone being interviewed or interacted with, right? So there is a subset or a set of the population that we analyze, right? That we have the study conducted with. Good. So because we can't have the entire population, we have a subpopulation where we run our study and then draw conclusions from. Okay, good. So we have to define our sample size, and usually formulas help us to determine this. Now it is going to help you with your analysis, whether you can draw conclusions based on the sample size you have. Is your sample size enough to be able to generalize your findings to the entire population? Okay, so the sample size is really important. The effect size, we will delve deeper into this as we move on in this video. The next is to select your sampling techniques, right? Yes, the method for selecting the participants. Is it going to be a random selection? Is it going to be convenience? Is it going to be purposive? So you are going to look at all these things and then develop your collection tool. Are you going to go with a questionnaire? Are you going to go with surveys? Are you going to have an interview, focus group discussions? All of these are supposed to be explained. And then implement data collection procedure. How are you going to collect your data, right? Execute a plan for collecting the data. Well, you are going to collect data at weekly intervals, daily, hourly. All of these things should be explained and detailed in your work. Data quality, how to maintain the accuracy and reliability of your data so that you don't end up excluding some data, falsifying data. All of these things are supposed to be etched in your research work, especially in this methodology. And then after collecting the data, after ensuring that your data is accurate and reliable, you then go on to analyze your data, right? Make meaning of the data, interpret the data, what we see, how it explains your objectives, right? Good. So that is that. And then we move on to the final one, ethical considerations, right? So we move on to the first one, study area. Now, the purpose of study area is to describe where the study will be conducted. Now, this is very important. As I mentioned earlier, you can't have your study across the whole country, right? It's a very large region. It's a very huge region. And it could even be that the study you are working towards, okay, is the condition you are working towards is localized in a particular area, okay? So that will be your studies area. Right? Good. So you will describe where the study will be conducted. If you have to define the coordinates of that particular study area, you should. The vegetation or the land cover, the land mass, the streams you have. I mean, there are a lot of things you can describe about your study area, right? And explain why you chose that study area. Okay, there are some features you shouldn't or you needn't have to bring it into your chapter 3, right? Because then they are unnecessary, right? Depending on the focus of your study, right? If it is about climate, you know that you have to go into details, explain the climate, the months where rainfall is expected, the months where the sun shines most, the temperature regions, the temperature areas, the temperature values. All of these things you are supposed to explain if your study demands that. You are even supposed to talk about the borders where they share borders with, especially if it's going to help your study. Right. So there are a lot of things you can talk about when you are looking at your study area. But then know what to bring at any point in time depending on your study's focus, right? So there is one study we conducted that I want to use as an example here. So our study was evaluating the diagnostic performance of an AI device for malaria detection. Okay, so this is a manuscript, mind you. This is a manuscript, and it means therefore that most of the data has been abridged. But for thesis, it's supposed to be a very comprehensive report. All right, in the sense that if anyone should pick your methodology, okay, it should serve as an SOP for that individual, and then if they should go according to what you have stated in your methodology, they should be getting similar or the same results. All right, so that's the very reason why methodologies are supposed to be very detailed in thesis write-up. Okay, this is a manuscript, and so some of the things would have been taken out just to make sure we are meeting word limits. All right, yeah. So for instance, study area, you have the study area. They are supposed to not be in any particular order, but they should be logically spelled out. All right, yes. So with the study site, in our study, we just said we are going to enroll patients from health facilities in the Ashanti region of Ghana. So specifically, we have stated where health facilities, all right, where in the Ashanti region of which country? Ghana. So this is very specific, all right, because each site has their own specific features or characteristics that will eat into their study, right? Because we know that geographies affects studies. All right, so that's why you're supposed to state it. Just then went forward to explain the health facility. It is the University Hospital Services, KNUST in Kumasi. We also worked at the Eniniwa Medical Center in Emina, Madonna Catholic Clinic in Ejiso. So then we went forward to define and explain the special features of these health facilities and why we actually selected them for this study. Okay, so I'll just pick one. So for the KNUST Hospital, it is one of the largest referral facilities in the region, and in addition serves a large surrounding population, including all of these people in all of these towns, right? Good. And then we also went with the other facilities. Now, if you can see here, they are very abridged, very abridged, but in your thesis, you should be very comprehensive. All right, talk about the number of facilities they have. You can even talk about the worker population. You can talk about the number of cases they receive, that is if you have access to that data. So you have to go into details to describe them, and then right after that you are supposed to explain why you selected your study facility or your study area. So looking at this, we've been able to describe the studies area. Right, so as I mentioned, you have to tell the country, the region, the district, the municipality, right, the community in which you are working, and then the characteristics of the population, the geography, the climate, the health facilities. All of these things are supposed to be in there. Now, relevance. Why did you study this particular area? Okay, so an example is for Kumasi, located in Ashanti region, the population characteristics, burden of malaria, availability of health facilities. So the facilities were there. The condition in question, malaria, was endemic in that particular region. So that is why we selected Ashanti region. That particular health facility is because probably we've had data which supposes that there are current cases or there are incidences occurring there. So we then have to focus on that area, right? So these are some of the reasons you can come up with. All right, so it's not any difficult thing, just that you have to really explain why. It shouldn't be just any tiny reason. Okay, you should have a concrete reason why you selected that region. Okay, so study design, we move on to study design, and this explains the overall approach used to conduct your study. Now, there are various study designs out there now, but then broadly put, you have three methods. Right, you have the qualitative, you have the quantitative, and then a mixture of these two. Right, yes. I think in the first video on research, I took my time to explain this, so you can have a look at that video. All right, so for quantitative, basically we are looking at quantity, numbers, numerical figures, right? Good. And then for qualitative, you are looking at in-depth experiences of people. And then you just have a mixture of both in your study. So depending on your research, you can either go in for qualitative or quantitative, or a mixture of both, depending on the objective in question. There are other studies that you only have to go in for qualitative, right? So the knowledge, attitudes, and practices of a particular condition in a particular locality, those are usually qualitative, right? You pick qualitative data. And then even from this qualitative data, you can go on with quantitative, because you can go on and say, okay, 25% of people said they have been cleaning their rooms regularly. So that forms part, or that becomes mixture of qualitative and quantitative, right? Good. So you have to know what your study wants, or what best suits your study, the data that you will collect to help you with your study, right? So the designs specifically are varied. Okay, for quantitative, you can look at cross-sectional, you can look at case control studies, you can look at experimental, you can look at quasi-experimental. There are various number of them. All right, so you have to read on them and look at which one is suitable for your study. All right, they are longitudinal studies, usually studies that are done for thesis, especially undergraduate and masters, are usually cross-sectional. For longitudinal, you can track a particular condition for over years, several years. So that is one. For quantitative, you have phenomenology, ethnography, and then grounded theories for qualitative. So you are supposed to study a phenomenon, right? So that is the design you are looking at. You are studying a phenomenon. Jane Goodall in Love and Memory. Jane Goodall was a biologist who was looking at the behavior of monkeys, right? Yeah, so that was a phenomenology study that she did. Okay, and then we move on to an example. So the example we are using here is the study we conducted some time back, right? The same study. So the study design, we said this is a hospital-based cross-sectional study, right? And it was conducted from this date to this date. Now this is another heading we'll be looking at shortly, right? So you have to state your cross-sectional, your study design. All right, good. So as we have here an example, facility-based cross-sectional study. For qualitative, we have in-depth interview with participants. Okay, and then you have a mixture of them. All right, now let's move on to study population. Who will participate in your study? Who is going to participate in your study, right? So your target population, are you going to look at the entire group of interest? Who is going to be accessible, participants available for recruitment? All right, good. So an example, your target population, you are looking at males of a particular age group. So let's say you are looking at adolescents, school going age. All right, that is your population. Mind you, everything you are going to be inputting in the methodology section is directed to answer your objective. Good. So if your study is on cervical cancer, right, you are not expected to go and be recruiting men. Men do not have cervix, right? So you then have to go in for females. Now females, cervical cancer, what age range are you looking at? Are you looking at postmenopausal or premenopausal women, right? Good. So this is what should inform your target population. All right, it isn't just that you just have to be generic and then say you are picking data from everyone, because you don't expect to be picking data from females when you are looking at prostate cancer, right? Good. So this should be guiding you in selecting your population, right? Good. So you could go by that. Now, your inclusion and exclusion criteria. Who are you including? Who are you excluding? Do they have specific characteristics that you are looking at that is making you exclude them or include them? Do they have a confounding factor that even after including them in your study, it is going to affect your results in the end or your data in the end? Good. So this should be informed, okay, by the focus of your study, right? But then the underlying factor is that they should give you consent. And if they are children, if they are minors, you need to go for parental guidance. That is where ethics is really important, right? Good. So for instance, inclusion criteria, they are supposed to be females, they are supposed to be males within a particular age group, and then only those who give consent are going to be included in your study. Now, who are you going to exclude? Those who refuse to give you consent, those who are not able to communicate correctly to suit your study. Now, those who are not able to give you should I say primary data information. Some are able to give you their name, but they don't know their age, and age is something which is important to your work. So you then intend to, okay, patients who are not able to give a complete profile of what you are looking for be excluded, right? Good. Yes, so be patients who don't give you complete records, you just exclude them from your study. Right? So these are some of the things you are supposed to look at. Now we move on to sample size determination, which explains how many participants are needed for your study. Now this is very key to your whole defense, right? As I mentioned, you can't interview everyone. You can't collect data from your entire population, so you need a target population. Now, even from this target, you need to have a sample, like a quorum, all right, in order for your study's findings to be generalized to the entire population. And with this, it comes in with some statistical technologies or some statistical things you are supposed to know: the effect size, the alpha value. All of these things are supposed to be in place, right? Mostly we have formulas out there that help us to calculate this. The most basic and primary one is the Cochrane's formula. We have one for finite population and we have one for infinite population. We have other ones that are there. So for instance, another study we conducted. So with this, we use the Hajian-Telakis formula, right? Where it helped us to be able to determine our sample size. Okay. And with the sample size too, mostly you have to look at the prevalence. Okay. Most formulas will need the prevalence of the condition you are looking at. So for this, we realized that for a particular study conducted in a region, they realized that they had 43.2% prevalence rate. And so we included that in our study to help us get our sample size. And so it just means that we need to take samples or data from 299 people or participants in order for us to confidently say that the results we are going to come up with, it is not by chance, right? And that we can generalize it to the population. Good. So the sample size is very key to the success of your study. So imagine that we had 299 and then we only took 140. We cannot move on because we haven't met the minimum number of participants to be recruited for the study. Now, that said, it does not mean that you only need 299 participants. So you should always try to collect more if you can collect more. The reason is that you could end up having to exclude some studies or some participants, right? Because of one thing or two, incomplete data. They have a condition they did not specify. You found out later, and then you are supposed to exclude them from analysis or from the study. It is going to contribute to the reduction of your sample size. So it is appropriate, right, to collect more so that in any case you are supposed to exclude others, it wouldn't affect your sample size. So we move on to the sampling technique. Well, we have two techniques here. You have two techniques, so probability sampling and non-probability sampling, right? So probability sampling is just that you are leaving everything to chance. We are not selecting, we are not trying to be one-sided, right? We are leaving everything to chance. So if you are looking at probability, then we are looking at simple random sampling, where everyone has the equal chance of being selected or being recruited for the study, right? To avoid any bias, any systemic bias. All right, good. The next one is a systematic way of sampling, where you say, okay, so for every second person who comes in, or for every even number person who comes in, you are going to recruit them for the study. That is also acceptable, and it is a systematic way of sampling. It is a probability-based sampling method or technique, which is also acceptable. We also have stratified sampling, where we divide populations into groups, right? We divide populations into groups. So you have a condition endemic in a particular community. So you say, okay, in order to cover more grounds, right, you go household by household. So you divide the catchment areas into households. You have group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5. And for each group, you have a day you go and collect your data, right? So you have stratified sampling, and usually these are meant for large sample sizes, where you can't just go and be collecting the data like that. So for instance, population census, we usually have people divided into groups, right? We have cluster sampling. This is also very important and very good for population census, right? So you either go with stratified or you go with clusters. So you cluster your communities. So cluster 1, North Hemisphere, cluster 2, Southern Hemisphere, right? And mind you, you can use 1 or 2 of these, right? Good. So you can have a cluster sampling, where you then can have a stratified sampling. So you have Southern Hemisphere, which is a very big cluster. So then you go and stratify. Okay, Southern Hemisphere, community 1, community 2, community 3, so that you can have people going in there collecting your data, right? After the probability sampling, we have one also called the non-probability sampling, where participants are selected but not based on chance. You are actually selecting them yourself, and certain conditions, I might say, will require that you only go in for non-probability sampling methods. For instance, you are working on a stigma tagged condition. So in the early days of HIV, right, there was stigma attached to people, but then you also want to conduct a study to determine what is going on. People will shy away from being participants to your study. So what would be then the most prudent way to go about it is to go with snowballing. Snowballing just means that you speak to one person, all right? Usually doctors help you. The doctors or nurses in the ART sites, right? You go to them, they talk to the first patient, they explain to them. You then tell them that if they know anyone who is in a similar situation, they should alert you. So they go in, they talk to their groups, they talk to their people, and they go like, okay, this is what is happening. So then they refer that individual to you again, right? So snowballing is very important, right? You can't use that for the probability way of doing things, right? So depending on the special needs of your study, right, or your population, you should know which one works better for you. So convenience sampling, easy to reach participants, convenience. Health facility sampling, so they are very convenient. You are looking at malaria, so you go to the health facility and then they are there. In a way, it is also purposive sampling. You are purposely selecting participants of a condition. So smokers, right? You are purposely going to select smokers. You are not going to add malaria people, malaria patients and whatnot, right? So you have to know what your study wants and know the sampling methods or technique to go in with, right? So an example, so our study used a systematic random sampling, to recruit participants for our study. Right. Good. So let's move on to data collection tools, which is also very important. Right. So with the data collection tools, these are just instruments that will be useful for collecting data for your study. Right. The very basic ones are questionnaires, semi-structured, structured or unstructured questionnaires, right? Collect the information. You have interview guides, interview people. We have focus group discussions where you could have a focus on only doctors. So you recruit only doctors, you sit with them, you talk to them, and then you listen to them. You pick your information from them. Focus group discussions. You also have observation checklists. So I mentioned Jane Goodall, who was looking at behavioral patterns of monkeys, right? So she will have an observation checklist. So in the morning, what do you see the monkeys do? She has it, she records them, she puts them down. So that's an observational checklist. And then we have laboratory standardized forms. You have electronic data capture tools. So these are online-based platforms that help you to collect data. As I mentioned earlier in the questionnaires are hard copies, right? Hard copies that you take to the field. And the same questionnaires can be converted into soft copies where you can use those online, right? So you have RedCap to help you collect your data online. You have Kobo to collect. You have the ODK also for field collections. Now, these can really help you to collect your data. You can use the hard copies and then the soft copies, all right? So that in any eventuality, you then have a backup for your data, right? And then we have the step-by-step collection of the data cycle. So the collection of your data. So first of all, you have to obtain approval. Secure the necessary ethical approval from your institution in question, right? From there, you recruit assistants. Now, these things I'm going to be mentioning, some might not be important for your work, for your study, especially, for instance, recruiting research assistants. For an undergraduate work, you are supposed to do yourself. You're supposed to collect blood sample. If you are trained to collect blood sample, if you're a phlebotomist, you should go ahead. But if not, you are supposed to talk to the lab scientists to help you or pick a blood sample, right? But for huge and large studies, right, you are supposed to recruit the PI, you're supposed to recruit research assistants to help them collect their data, right? Good. So you hire or recruit study assistants to help you collect your data, and then you train them. You train your data collectors so that they know how to collect, what to collect, and then what to exempt from your data, right? And then you test your tools. Usually you're supposed to send your questionnaires, right, to experts in the field. They streamline your questions for you, and then you test it. So the same region, the same facility, all right, you send to that facility, you use it to collect 1 or 2, 10 patients, and then you see the lapses in there, what to exclude, what to include, to inform you of what to collect when you should start the bigger project. All right. Yes. So basically that is that, to test your tools, and then you recruit your participant. Then on, you obtain your informed consent from them. You administer your questionnaire, right? After that, you enter your data into your data entry tool. We will look at that shortly. After that, you store your data. If you used an electronic kind of collection where you use RedCap or Kobo to collect, or even Google Forms, you know that it's going to be stored online, right? So you can keep it there. But if you used hard copy questionnaires, you then have to keep them in cabinets under lock and key. And then we move on to data quality assurance. What you do to your data before, during, and then after collection. So before you collect your data, I mentioned this, you have to develop your tool, right? After that, you give to an expert to validate your questions for you, and then you pilot it. You send it to your facility that you want to conduct the study, pilot it and see some lapses that you would chance upon, and then also give solutions or solve these lapses before you start the main study, right? It will surprise you the things you would see from this pilot. It is very important. Now, during collection, what do you do? Do you supervise daily? Do you supervise monthly? All of these things are supposed to be stated in your thesis, right? Good. And then after collection, what do you do? Do you do double data entry? Would you do data cleaning, removing errors, inconsistencies, and all that? Good. We move on to data analysis, where you then analyze your data. So with this, you have to enter your data, right? So there are different tools, data analysis tools there to help you. We have the Excel, the basic ones. Excel is there. We have the SPSS, we have the Stata, we have the R, we have the Python, and we have GraphPad, Prism. We have various data entry tools, right? Good. So that is that. And then once you've entered your data, you have to analyze them. Now, mind you, all of these things are supposed to be stated in your work. So for instance, if you used Excel, which version of Excel? Did you use Excel 2019, Excel 365, the manufacturer, and then the country? SPSS, which version? The manufacturer and the country stated. That's how you are supposed to present the analysis session of your methodology. Now, once you have your data, you are supposed to analyze them, right? The most basic ones is to analyze them based on frequencies and then percentages. Now, depending on the distribution of your data, whether it is normally distributed or non-normally distributed, right? You should know what test to use. So if they are normally distributed, you know that you are going to be using means to describe central tendencies of your data, right? So the means usually goes with the standard deviations. If it's not normally distributed, you know that you are looking at medians and their interquartile ranges, right? Good. So you are supposed to explain all of these. Now, in some instances, you would even have to explain why you are running these tests and not the other in your work. After you've described your data, you have to make inferences where you calculate your p-values, and these p-values are going to help you answer your hypothesis. You remember in chapter 1 you have hypothesis, so this is where you test your hypothesis, whether the null hypothesis stands or the alternative hypothesis stands, right? Now, the same way, your inferential test will depend on the distribution of your data. If it is normally distributed, you know you are looking at correlations. You are looking at correlation between one factor and the other. You know that you are going to use Pearson's correlation for that. If it is not normally distributed, you know you are going to use Spearman's correlation, right? So you should know what to use at what point in time and be able to defend, right? You could also use chi-square. You could also use Fisher's exact test. You could also use Kramer V test. So it will depend on what you are looking for. Mind you, any test you use for your data, it will give you a result. Do not be fooled. Any result, any test will give you a result. But is that test result or the finding accurate? Is it accurate for your study? Right. So if I used ANOVA, is it accurately presenting my results or not? So that's why you are supposed to look at the normality of your work, your study, whether they even meet the conditions of the test you are using. Chi-square, is it meeting the condition? Fisher's exact, is it meeting the condition? ANOVA, is your data set meeting the test for ANOVA? Logistic regression, is it meeting multiple logistic regression? Is it meeting the criteria? Repeated ANOVA measures, is it repeating that criteria? Because any test at all can give you a result, right? So you have to know why you are using that and explain it in your work and defend it in your work, for a matter of fact. And this is very important and very crucial because we don't want you to end up misleading your readers. Okay, so that is very important. All right, and the final thing we will look at for is the ethical considerations. I've mentioned this in earlier videos, right? So you take informed consent from the participants, you take ethical considerations or ethical clearance from your institution before you even go on collecting your data, right? So in conclusion, the chapter 3, you are looking at your study area where you conducted the study, what approach, your study design, population, who you are looking out to collect your data from, who qualifies, who are you excluding, how many of these participants are you going to recruit, how are you selecting them, randomly or snowballing, what collection or what tool are you using to collect your data, how are you going to collect it, how accurate are these data, and how are you going to analyze it, and how protected are you for your study. So basically, this is how a study methodology should be like. So briefly, to look at this one, we started from the methodology. We are looking at study design and sample collection. As I mentioned earlier, right, it's not in any order, but it should be logically flowing, right? So here we combine the study design and then sample collection, right? You have to state the year, the period in which you collected your data and why you collected it in that year, right? Probably you are looking at some trends, okay, in climate and how it affects a particular condition. Raining season, it breeds mosquitoes. Dry season, it doesn't, right? So you are going to look at the year and that the month or the period, and that is very important, right? Good. We even took time to tell the volume of blood we collected. We took time to tell you that the EDTA tube we used, right? We have K3 and K2. We use K2. So in your work, if you use K2, you explain why you use K2. Inclusion criteria, we also added that. And we added a very nice flow, logical flow of the entire study, how we went about it. You collect the blood, you transport the blood, we send it to the lab for analysis. These are the tests we run in the lab. The analysis, this is the final analysis output. We also talked about the samples, study size, the sample size, laboratory procedures in detail, right? This should be very comprehensive in your work. Yes, so we move on to the data analysis. Right, so data analysis, how we did it, we entered it into Microsoft Excel. This is the year, this is the manufacturer, and then the country. We then exported it to GraphPad Prism. Analysis, we described the data. Normality of continuous data was assessed using this. So you see, you have to make sure the distribution of your data is stated. That, okay, so for normality, we use Shapiro-Wilk test. There is also one Komarov test. All of these things have conditions for which you use them. All right, so you have to know why you are using Shapiro-Wilk test, why you are using Komarov's test. You should be able to define and explain why you are using all these things, right? Good. So you just have to be comprehensive in your work to prevent any ambiguity, right? How you analyze your data, how you analyze quantitative data, why you are analyzing it that way. You see, so all these things should be in there. All right. So you can leave any comments, any questions you have in the comment section, and I'll try to address that. The next one, we are going to look at the results, right? After you've had your results, how to make sense of your result, because you are going to have a lot of data, but then you are supposed to be guided by your objectives to know what data to present, how you're supposed to present that data. So thank you very much, and see you in our next video.